Akande Ogundimu, also known as Doomfist, was a competitive martial artist before losing his arm in the aftermath of the Omnic Crisis. As the heir to a prosthetic company, he received a new cybernetic arm that rendered him unable to compete in fighting tournaments. It simply wasn't fair, and this left a massive void in his life. This void was soon filled by a new opportunity, Talon. Working alongside the original Doomfist, Akande joined the Talon organization. He climbed the ranks of Talon, later taking out his mentor, becoming the new Doomfist and leader of the organization. Talon's shady criminal military operations blossomed under his leadership, leading to many battles against Overwatch. After finally being defeated by Overwatch, Doomfist was imprisoned for many years, however later escaped by punching out his own cell during a Talon extraction mission. Doomfist believes that only through conflict can humanity become stronger. He uses his innate strength, agility, and intelligence to outmaneuver his enemies and his massive prosthetic gauntlet to take them out. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Try Mode. I hope you guys enjoyed the lore segment for Doomfist. After Try Mode, we're going to be jumping into a match to bring all of this together. But Doomfist's abilities seem very basic when you first look at them on surface level. But there are so many hidden techniques that you can use to really enhance this character through the roof. First, we're going to need to go over the basics, though. Our hand cannon is our primary weapon. It's basically shrapnel that we keep hidden inside of our knuckles, and it reloads on its own. As you can see, we have 4 shots at a time, and over time they will recharge. We are able to continue to use our other abilities while reloading, so that's actually a really nice feature on Doomfist. These shots are going to fire 11 pellets at a time. Those pellets are going to deal between 1.8 and 5 damage per pellet, and we get fall off damage at about 15 meters. So right about here, you'll notice we start to deal a little less damage. Full drop off is at 30 meters, and like, don't even bother. You're not doing anything. However, if we do get up close, and we have plenty of abilities in our arsenal to help us get up close, our headshot damage can be quite formidable, especially if you can group all of those pellets into one spot. While at full ammunition, we're able to fire one shot every 0.3 seconds, but then it is going to take some time to refill from there. Pretty easy to understand, right? Good. I'm glad you're keeping up so far. Our shift ability is called Seismic Slam. This is going to propel Doomfist forward, where he slams the ground and deals damage in front of him with a frontal cone, like a pizza slice ability. You can see it used here to actually damage 2 enemies at once. Seismic Slam does a flat 50 damage, no matter how close or far away you are from the target. If it hits them, it's going to deal 50 damage. The cone itself is a very forgiving 18 meters, so you can see even at a decent distance we can slam in some extra damage with Seismic Slam. Rocket Punch is our right click ability. We can charge it up, and at full charge it will allow us to travel up to 20 meters, which is that line right back there, towards our targets. Based on charge, it's going to deal 25 to 50 damage, and if our enemy impacts a wall, or in this case a rail, they're also going to take 10 to 30 damage based on the amount of charge we have. So at max slam, it's going to look like 80 damage delivered to a target. Even short charges of this ability can send your enemies flying great distances, especially if you're on high ground like this. And even though I can charge 20 meters, once I impact an enemy, my feet are going to stop right at that point of impact. Rocket Punch and Seismic Slam will trigger our passive, the best defense. By dealing damage with either of these abilities, we're going to generate 35 overhealth for our character that will slowly deteriorate over time. So if you can continue to hit enemies with your abilities, and they do have pretty short cooldowns, you'll be able to generate extra health to keep yourself in the fight even longer. Another tool in our arsenal to become even tankier is our Powerblock Stance with our E ability. You can see a meter filling up on the right side. If we absorb I think it's 100 damage. They keep changing it from patch to patch. It's been moved up and down. Right now, I think it's 100 damage. We then get an empowered right click, and its cooldown is instantly reset. Unfortunately, this is a little awkward. I can't take enough damage in try mode to show that to you, but we'll have plenty of opportunities in our match. While we have our big arm up in front of us mitigating damage, we're going to take 80% less from all frontal attacks for 2.5 seconds. And that's on a 7-second cooldown, so we can use that quite a lot. I personally feel like all of that was pretty easy to follow. I hope you do too. However, that is just scratching the surface. If we combo our Seismic Slam and our right click together, we can cover so much ground. Look at this. Isn't that impressive? Wow, we made it all the way to this line. Isn't that cool? Well, that's unfortunately just the beginning. There are a bunch of hidden techniques on Doomfist that allow you to get even more out of his abilities and enhance his mobility even more. So what I'm going to try to do is channel the right click, interrupt it by jumping towards the end of the charge, and then immediately go into a Seismic Slam to travel the same distance, because I didn't do it right. There we go. Look at that. Look how much further we went with that. You can gap close on enemies from so far away without them expecting that at all. I mean, look how far that was. So again, that's channeling the right click, jumping at any time, looking up, and Seismic Slamming. That is really far. Now, Seismic Slam itself does propel you forward a little more than, looks about like 15 meters to me. However, if you use this ability while on any staircase or ramp, you can control your Seismic Slam, pull yourself back by holding S, and essentially put that pizza slice down directly in front of you. This is really helpful if enemies are close and you can deal damage to a lot of enemies. You could do that without putting yourself that far out of position for your team. Another use for our Seismic Slam would be to get up to high ground easily. If I look up, I'll travel more vertically, and we can pretty easily jump up to the second level of this walkway if we start on the high ground. If we start on the low ground, that becomes significantly more difficult to do. You can actually get up right about to that lip, but you can't make the jump normally. Well, if I'm talking about it, you should probably assume that there's more than meets the eye. I don't have a 100% completion rate with this, but if you look up, hit shift, and then continue to tap it, you can cancel your Seismic Slam ability, but keep the upward momentum to get on top of this obstacle that normally I would not be able to get on top of. To take that a step further, you can Seismic Slam, immediately cancel the ability with your right click, with your rocket punch, and go even higher. Look at this. And that's just basically hitting both abilities at the same time. Well, not at the same time. One immediately following the other. And again, I'm just kind of starting to scratch the surface here. This is a really complex character when you start to dig into the minutia. And let's not forget our ultimate ability, Meteor Strike. This allows Doomfist to jump high into the air, and after 4 seconds, or when left-clicking, slam down on the ground, dealing damage to anyone in that area, and generating even more shielding with the best defense. We get 75 overhealth from every target we hit. Meteor Strike deals 300 damage to enemies inside of the center ring, and the outer ring deals 15 to 100 based on how close they were to the center. Meteor Strike does have slightly more than meets the eye yet again. Let's say we know an enemy is on top of this building here. By default, if you use Meteor Strike, you would attack the bottom floor, just like this. However, if we start Meteor Strike and then right-click to zoom out, we can land on top of the building easily. So I guess I lied earlier. One of the effects of Meteor Strike is actually empowering your rocket punch when you land. So I can show you how the empowered rocket punch works. We are going to be able to charge this up significantly faster. It's going to deal 50% more damage, and it's going to have a wider impact area so more characters can get caught up in it if there were more around. If our target hits a wall, not only are they going to take bonus damage, but they're going to be stunned for 0.5 0.25 to 0.75 seconds based on the amount of charge that we have. Now, even without the empowered rocket punch, I do want to point out that we are interrupting like animations and causing characters to stay still for a moment, and that can be really helpful for lining up your headshots. All right, I hope that wasn't too overwhelming. There was a lot to cover, a lot of in-depth stuff here. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please be sure to hit that thumbs up button, and let's get into our match for today. All right, ladies and gentlemen, starting things off, attacking on Esperanza. This is one of the tug-of-war maps, so both teams are technically attacking. The friendly team so far is Doomfist, Pharah, Genji, Kiriko, and Mercy. As the gate opens, we can propel ourselves forward with our mobility to be the first ones that reach the point. I don't even think I actually did the jump right there. I think I jumped a little bit too soon and actually interrupted it. However, I can play around this corner relatively well, so if the enemy team wants to push into me, I am already planted, ready to go. Looks like their tank is going to be a Reinhardt. I can interrupt his stun with my own charge if it ever comes down to that. Let's jump in on Kiriko and try to get some damage in here. She does cleanse that off pretty quickly. And we'll use this Reinhardt to charge up our defense blocking thing super duper quickly. They never stop swinging into Doomfists. I've noticed a very common trend with Reinhardt players. Enemy Mercy gets punched to, or enemy Mei, excuse me, gets punched to the face as we continue the pursuit on Ana and take her down. That means our team is in control of the payload for the time being. Soldier 76 quite far. We jump around the corner, getting damage on him, but Kiriko teleports in with a cleanse, keeping him alive. Falling back to the payload to keep it moving. These guys may have moved to the second floor here. No, they're still over here as we jump through, dealing damage and now trying to mitigate from in front of us. It looks like they swapped over to an Echo. Wasn't expecting that damage. And Reinhardt flanks from behind. So not a bad start. We were in control of the robot for at least a little while. And it looks like I and Kiriko were the only ones that got taken down. So team is more or less in control of that. But of course, as I say that, Mercy starts to fall as well. As our team is kind of split, grouping up would probably be a good idea. I'm not jumping into this because I don't know who's there. It looks like a single Reinhardt in control of the point. We'll just take his shield down with a nice boop and then try to deal with this soldier. Not my best engage, but we'll get behind him and just shoot him in the back. A quick punch to the back helps secure that kill, but Pharah got the final hit. Now the robot moving towards us again. We just saw the enemy team's Echo. Let's mitigate some damage and see if we can supercharge our punch. Not there, but Ana back on the point, taking a lot of damage. Let's go ahead and just try to kill Kiriko. What? Stop going immune. Thank you. Soldier 76 in this building. I just missed the window. That was almost such a good transfer. I definitely still have a lot to learn on this character. This is an ongoing process. Doomfist ended up being so much harder than I expected. I don't know where they went to clear out of that room, so I'm just going to drop back down. We have our jump again in just a moment. Let's see if we can mitigate a little damage to power up our punch. And I was hoping I'd have a little bit easier of a time catching that soldier. Enemy Echo decided to become me, and she's shifted out of Doomfist form very quickly. That pizza slice hits 3 members of the enemy team who are all hiding in this cubbyhole. Let's try to mitigate some damage, waiting on cooldowns. Ana doesn't know we're here. Pushing her into the wall buys us a lot of damage as our team continues to push the payload forward. Let's hold up the big hand and mitigate some of that. Waiting for heals on the back line. We're getting them. Now pushing their healers back as their tank may have stepped up a little bit too far, and holding the big hand up to mitigate yet again. Oh, as Sigma comes around the corner, we take a little bit too much damage and we are taken down. So far, 11 eliminations, 2 deaths. I'm feeling pretty okay with that. One thing I want to mention is you don't necessarily always have to charge the fist up to full power. If you want to just use it for micro repositioning, that's totally okay to just like zip in here really fast, mitigate some damage with your E, and then zip around somewhere else. We're just buying time as our team is respawning. Pharah was the last one to be taken down, unfortunately. That was pretty smooth, getting up to the high ground to pressure that soldier, but I'm not going to be able to finish him. If the enemy team is trying to gap close on me, we'll just shift cancel and then rejoin with a right click over that wall. Look at that. That was actually a pretty good transfer. Pretty proud of that one. Kiriko for the enemy team pushed away. She can teleport back whenever she wants, and we're trying to deal big damage to Sigma. Make that soldier who we land directly on top of and remove from the game. If Sigma is trying to stop us from advancing, I'm going to stop him from standing there with a quick push, and we give Ana the same treatment on the back line. Now, he can still stun me with his rock. I'm not immune to crowd control or anything when I have the arm up, but it does help out a little bit. This isn't looking too good for me. Yeah. I'm not trying to eat rocks for breakfast right now, my dude. Thank you. Enemy team should be respawning. Let's get some damage in on Kiriko and push her towards our team. See if any follow-up damage happens, but that barrier there kept her alive pretty easily. Damage coming from the left. I imagine that was the enemy team soldier, but I didn't see it. I'm actually going to fall back for a little bit of healing here if I can. Go find our Mercy Sheep. She'll give me some attention. Enemy Echo is above us. Let's punch her into the wall. Follow up with a slam. They are definitely going to be able to kill me here. And for some reason, I thought I was on the other side. Like the health pack was over there. All right, not super smooth, but that's okay. Friendly team is in the lead, but 4 minutes and 30 seconds remain in this match. Let's see if we can get back up to the front line in record time. I think I was the only one that died there, so the team still has pretty good numbers. Sigma's still trying to advance here, dueling with our Genji, and that seems to be going pretty well. Kiriko dies as soon as we appear, and we can put some good damage into Sigma to help secure his death as well. Enemy team on the high ground, we know what to do. Transfer up and punish them for being here. Genji with a nice follow-up, gets a great kill onto the enemy team soldier. That's what I like to see. She became me again. Why? Echo already forced out of her ultimate one more time, and a couple quick shots take her down to the floor as the robot continues to push. We see two members of the enemy team at the end of the road. Gap closed a little bit too far there. Let's see if they shoot and empower me. Not quite. Oh, and that's a bad spot. Let me just do some quick dashes to try to get out of there. We do have our ultimate ability if we want to use it. Farah moving forward, taking a bunch of damage, but we take that soldier down before he can do anything else. Now with our ult, we land right next to the enemy team Zenyatta. And with that empowered punch after our ult, stun him against that wall for a quick kill. Now it's a tank fight in the middle of the street, and I think I can manage this one. We hold S to give us a close... Come here. Thank you. We hold S to give ourselves a short-range Seismic Slam, give ourselves some extra shields, and take down the enemy tank all in one go. Now, as reinforcements are coming in, we give them the knockback trinket. Any ground we can gain here is going to be good. As our cooldowns come off, we do it again, this time pressuring the Zenyatta even more into that corner. One important thing about barriers is if I dive too far like that, my friendly allies can't actually heal me through that barrier. So that's a really good offensive way that Sigma can use that defensive ability, and I paid the price for it. The enemy team is moving the robot, but everyone is alive. This means it's being backcapped right now. Let's see if I can mess that up, but we're still in a decent position. Zenyatta very low on HP. I'm missing all my shots, and then he got immunity frames to make things worse. Kiriko for the enemy team is trying to elude us as our Genji continues to chase. I missed every shot there. Fuck. Jumping in on Soldier now. We'll keep chasing him down the hallway as we get hit from the side. Turn to see a... Sojourn waiting for us. Okay. I'm just trying to gap close towards my team now. There might be a few guys behind us. Soldier still trying to hit us from the high ground. Let's hit him back as we slam into the room and empower our fist. We take him down for good with that knockout punch. And now we found that Sigma who was hiding behind us. We'll go ahead and cancel that charge just to hit her with a slam and a punch to finish off with that little bit of damage. We then Meteor Strike back towards our team, kick this Kiriko off the point, and secure the win. Is there still room to improve in my Doomfist gameplay? Absolutely. This character is astonishingly difficult. But I hope you got a little sneak peek of what is possible. I really enjoyed learning him over the course of this week, and a big thank you to everyone in Twitch chat for helping me learn faster. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure you hit that thumbs up button, everybody. It helps us out a ton. And if you enjoy the Overwatch content, be sure to subscribe. There's plenty of Overwatch 2 A through Z to go.